was gonna try to get a view of the rock, the castle rock from here, but I can't set my camera up high enough for it to get it windy out here today. But it's better than being in the house where it's absolutely silent. So I figured I could sit out here and crochet. If you can even hear me, I can sit out here and crochet, and you can enjoy the, I don't know, the tree in the background. If you have any questions, I'm here. Today I have an interview at noon. I'm going to interview to start being a doula, and that way I can help people when their babies are being born. I think that'd be really fun. Um, I've done it a couple times in the past, and it was pretty cool. So looking forward to that. And then I have to work on we are going to work on, I have a meditation planned for us. I have like a, I think it's like 40 minutes long meditation. I tried it yesterday, and I tell you what, I was so comfortable. By the time the end of it came, I wanted to fall asleep. Um, so I have that for us, and then we're going to work on some breathing exercises. And I figure that'll be pretty cool because tonight's group is a self-care group. So that'll be pretty cool. I know a lot of people aren't used to me being live, so I don't expect a whole lot of people to be here, but you know, every once in a while I'm going to try to pop on. I'm going to try to get more regular about this because I would like to have a regular following on here and have, regular days and stuff. I just, with my work schedule right now, it's kind of hard to know when I'm going to be available. So, it's so windy out here. I blew all my plants away yesterday, over yesterday, last night. Because there's storm, which it never does in Colorado. Okay, so I have today I am drinking in my nice Colorado cup. I have some blueberry crumb cake coffee. It is so good. I get it at King Supers, which is the same as Kroger or Dillon's, and it's their brand, the Kroger brand. But it is so good. And then I add a little bit of cold foam, the like whip voicemail. I don't know. Anywho, it's not supposed to ring while I'm trying to do lives or do anything on here. But I have my coffee with my cold foam, and I am crocheting with some hand dyed yarn that I got from a friend and some Hobby Lobby yarn that I got from a clearance. Remember, friends, we never give Hobby Lobby our money unless it's clearance because then they don't really get the money because they already wrote it off as a tax write-off. So, and if y'all ever want to know why I say don't give Hobby Lobby your money, just ask me and I'll tell you. Um, but I will buy the yarn there. I will buy yarn there on clearance and clearance only. I figure that way they're not actually making money off of me. So I got to do a little FaceTime with my granddaughter this morning. She's such a doll. Every time she smiles, her whole face just scrunches up and she smiles just with her entire body. It's so adorable. She'll be one soon, and we're gonna go celebrate her birthday. I'm so excited for that. Go see my little munchkin again. I just saw her a few weeks ago, but I already want to go back. They live in another state, so it's hard to see them, on a regular basis, especially when I'm not working very much and I need to be saving my money. So I wish that I could get there more often, but I think that would require having a sugar daddy, and I'm not willing to do the things that a sugar daddy would require. So, it is what it is. This looks really pretty together. I love this yarn. I got it from a friend, Winter, and I believe they bought it from someone else who had actually hand dyed it. I lost the label for it a really long time ago, but I know that Winter lives in the UK. No, Winter lives in Canada, and I'm not sure where the yarn was from. I don't quite remember. Hello, Denise Lee. It's just me and you, girl. I'm new to this live thing. Well, I'm always in everybody else's lives, but I don't ever go live myself, so people don't expect it. It's like a surprise. I am just sitting outside working on a hat. I'm using two different yarns together and just enjoying the weather before I have to go to work. How about you? Yeah, it is really pretty. I live in Colorado, and normally this time of year it's like freezing, but for some reason right now it's like in the 60s and gorgeous. And it's not supposed to be, but I'll take it. Like I think it's supposed to snow. Last night it was pretty stormy, and then I think it's supposed to snow like this weekend or something like that. It's crazy. Hey Zach, how are you? You're off for 2 weeks. Well, that's nice. I hope you get paid for those 2 weeks. Premier puzzle for a baby blanket. Premier puzzle is really pretty and soft. Sadly, we don't get that sucks. It gives you time to hang out at home, rest, take lots of naps, watch all your shows. I feel like I've been on a forced time off for intermittently the last year just because my health keeps deciding to take a shit. And like I I wish that I could work more than just 2 days a week, but my body's just not allowing me to do that. But hopefully if I can start doing this doula thing, I can take on just one pregnant mama at a time, and that way it's not too much and I get paid really well for that. So that would be nice. I like working with pregnant mamas. And the ones that I work with are women who are either still currently using substances, like alcohol or street drugs, or they are on a medication to try to help them stay away from those kinds of things. And so what I do is I go in with these mamas when they're having their babies and help advocate for them, because a lot of times the doctors and nurses will have like a nasty attitude towards them because they're like, oh, that's a drug user. We're gonna treat them like shit. They shouldn't be doing that while they're having a baby. Well, of course, we all know that they shouldn't be doing it while they're having a baby, and they are doing it while they're having a baby. So let's get this baby here the best, safest, and kindest way that we can. And that's my job, is to round up the troops and make sure everybody does what they're supposed to do, and then also be there for mama and help her find her way through labor and all those cool positions and bouncing on the ball and all that all that fun stuff. So I really enjoy doing that. But every job that I work in, like right now, I'm just working in a sober living home, and I teach different things. Like tonight, we're doing meditation, and so, but each one of these places that I work in, it's all for people who are in recovery from something. It doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol. There's some people that are in there recovering from grief who have lost a partner, and they don't want to go back to substances or turn to substances. There's people who have, gambling addictions and human addictions, addictions to people. And so we just treat everybody the same, and we're all healing from something. Everybody on this earth is healing from something. So we all should treat each other the same with kindness, just like how we would want to be treated. Are y'all working on anything besides your baby blanket? Zach, are you working on anything? I saw this yarn this morning and I was like, I just want to do something with it. And I started to make like a tiny, tiny little amigurumi with a 2.5 millimeter hook. And I got like way too into it and frustrated. And I was like, no, lunch. Gotcha. I woke up at like 7. I haven't even thought about lunch yet. I'm still on coffee. I'll probably have lunch before my meeting at noon. Let's see how that's turning out. Not pretty. I love when they're like spotted like that when you mix the yarns. I lose track of where I'm at. These pretty days make me want to go hiking. There's a hiking rock that's right behind my house, but I'm not allowed to get my blood pressure up. So nothing exciting for me today or any day until I go see my liver doctor, which is going to be next week. So my liver has been not acting the way that it should. I have stage 4 liver cirrhosis, and they're thinking that my autoimmune disease is what's making it get worse. And so I have to go to a third opinion liver doctor transplant center and have them check me out and everything. And I'm probably going to have what's called a TIPS procedure. It's where they put like a shunt or stent, like a little straw through the portal vein, which is the main vein that goes through your liver, that carries your blood from the top half to the bottom half of your body. And right now, my portal vein is getting squished because my liver is so inflamed. And so when that vein gets squished, the blood can't go through and it's getting trapped in this top half of my body. And so it's making my blood pressure really high in my ears, my sinuses, and my throat and everything. So it's just causing a lot of issues for me. So hopefully I can get that procedure done. And what if I've heard it's an outpatient procedure, so I can just get that. And I'm telling myself that it's going to be in and out, and I'll be back to work, and everything will be great, and then life will be roses again after that. But the reality is that when you're in recovery, that you're never fully recovered, and that it's constantly a work in progress. So I'll take each day at a time, each moment that I can, and each little progress step forward. I don't want to keep being in the hospital every couple of months. And right now it's like every 6 weeks I'm having to get hospitalized, and I'm not down with that. I don't think that. I really don't. I don't mind working in the hospital, but I don't want to be a patient at the hospital that often. So I'm hopefully gonna get that taken care of and make my liver last a little bit longer, and not give me so many fits. It's not fun. So, and now they're telling me that they don't think that the cirrhosis is from me drinking, that they think the cirrhosis is from my autoinflammatory disease, and that the alcohol just, of course, made it 10 times worse. Alcohol, it makes everything, get more inflamed and puff up. It's poison, like literal poison you're putting in your body. So when I was drinking, that's why I kept going into liver failure like once every couple of weeks or once every month, because my liver just never had a chance to recuperate. So, but now I've been sober for 9.5 years, and it's going to stay that way because I want to stay alive. No amount of alcohol is worth, me dying over. None. I'm sorry. I don't care how fun it is. It's just not. No, I don't take any offense to anybody saying anything about drinking. I mean, even if somebody was to be like woo and party, party right in front of me, I don't find that offensive. What I would find offensive is if someone offered me a drink knowing that I was in recovery, like someone that I know really well, like maybe my sister or like an aunt or a cousin or someone that I was close with, for example. I don't have any aunts or cousins or sisters that I'm close with. That's just an example, but I would get pretty pissed off if one of them offered me a drink, knowing that how my health was affected by it. But other people drinking doesn't bother me. People talking about it or saying that they're glad they never got to that point doesn't bother me. I talk about it because I don't want other people to get to where I was. I almost died from it. Like I'm still having issues 9.5 years after being sober. And so that's why I talk about it, because there's nobody ever talked about it in front of me before I got sick, and I had no idea that this stuff could happen to me. No clue. I had no idea. All anybody ever talked about was drunk driving. You can get in a wreck from drunk driving. That's all they talk about in high school and all that shit. They need to talk about how one day you're gonna stand up and look like the Exorcist, scene from The Exorcist. But I won't get too graphic because you're eating, Zach. But yeah, it's been a ride for sure. But most days I'm really healthy and I feel fine. I just get really tired. I'm usually like up at 5 or 6 in the morning because of my ADHD, and then I sleep. I go to bed at like 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. And I'm snoring by like 7:30. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to lose me either. And I want to be here for my kids and my grandkids. And, when I was drinking, my older children were not in my life for a very long period of time. My ex-husband made a choice that it just wasn't good for them at the time. And he was right. Um, and so whenever I did get sober and I got my kids back in my life, it brought things that I never thought that I was going to actually have, like, getting to take one of my kids down the aisle at a wedding or grandkids. And so and now I've got to do all of that stuff just because I got sober and because I'm staying sober and proving to my kids that this really does mean a lot to me, and that just going out and get shit faced all the time is not it's not the bee's knees like it was when I was 20, when I was young and invincible. At least I thought. Swear I could tell y'all some stories. I could tell y'all some serious stories. I don't look old enough to be a grandma. Well, I am. I have 2.5 grandkids, and I say half because I have my daughter-in-law, my husband's daughter. I don't daughter from previous marriage. Um, so yeah, I'll have 3 grandkids soon. I'm so excited. I have a 2.5, almost 3-year-old little boy, and my granddaughter is about to be 1 next month, and then my little new one is due in February, so I'm really excited for that. So yeah, I'm glad I'm sober too, Janice. It's really changed my life. And in the beginning, I thought that all I had to do was just like stop drinking, and then that my whole life was going to change. And no, that's not it at all. It's stopping drinking, stopping hanging out with the people that you hung out with, stopping, bad habits and bad coping mechanisms, and learning new coping mechanisms and boundaries, and I didn't know what a boundary was in my life until I got sober. So it's kind of learning a whole new way of life. If you're brought up one way and you only see your house a lot of times, kids that don't get out a lot only see their way of living, and then they get out and they go, "Oh, shit, people live a different kind of way, huh?" And that, I mean, that's kind of what happened with me. My parents drank, and so I thought that was just normal. I just thought that that was how people deal with things, was you drink about it, you drink when you're happy or sad or when you want to celebrate or anything really. And so that's kind of, what we were taught in the 70s and 80s. And so I'm glad I'm here. I lost a sister to substances, a little sister. She was 35 years old. I have identical twin little sisters, and one of them passed away 8 years ago when she was 35. And sorry, one of my kids just came outside. The other one is still alive. And now she's 43, I think, something like that. But she still participates in drinking and acting like a fool. So it is what it is. But I don't know. I've thought about doing a series of like, my drunk stories, drunk funny things that I did or stupid things that I did. But at the same time, I don't want to give the impression of like if a teenager sees it that, like I'm trying to glorify going out partying or anything like that. So I'd have to think of how I want to do those things and how I would want to say certain stuff, because like I don't want my kids to hear it and go, "Oh, well, you did it, so I'm gonna go dirt, 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 dirt." That would be like, "Oh shit." So um, I will tell y'all the first time that I ever tried drugs, I was working at a bar in Houston, and a really, really hot, tall, drink of water guy came up to me, and he said, "Give me your hand." And I was like, "Okay." And he handed me a handful of pills, and I was like, "What is this?" And he said something really fast, and I didn't understand him. And he said, "Bring your friends later." And he wrote something on a piece of paper and then walked off. And I was like, "Okay." And it had his name, Jason, and then it was like had a hotel room and the name of the hotel. And the hotel was like one of the nicest hotels in Houston when I lived there at the time. And so we go to this hotel and we're like looking for the room number in the elevator, and they almost didn't even want to let us in. But we had this guy's name and room number, and they were like, "Well, how do you know him?" And we were like, "If we came to the bar, he gave us the number, blah, 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 blah." So they called him and he was like, "Yeah, let him up." The guy's in the freaking penthouse of this hotel. And we get up there and we find out that he was the pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates baseball team that had given us the drugs, and the drugs were ecstasy pills. And so he had been going around trying to find a bunch of girls, I guess, to give them all ecstasy and have a bunch of girls up there. And I don't know what he planned on doing, but all we did was me and my two friends just sat around and rubbed lotion on each other's hands all night long because the power had gone out, and it was like, oops, no party tonight. So, and I didn't drink at the time, but yeah, that was very interesting. And the next day they had a game against the Houston Astros and they lost severely. I mean, they were up all night partying, so that's to be expected. I told that story at a awards event a few years ago, and my mom heard it and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "I'm 47. You can't punish me now." I have to remind her that all the time whenever she hears me, because I speak at different events, and I did a podcast last week and stuff, and different stories that she hears and different things that I talk about. I said something about running from a police helicopter one time, and she was like, "What, Amy?" And I was like, "I'm 47. You can't ground me now, so please don't." But I mean, I can laugh about it now. At the time, it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. My friend had run from the cops and like run across a bunch of medians and shit, and like sideways, skidded into this freaking bar parking lot and came running through. And she was like, "Come on, Amy!" And she grabbed me and we were running out the back and like hid in the there's like this flood culvert and we like went down in the little pipes and just sat in there waiting for the helicopter to go away. And she's like, "Here, let's finish these drugs while we're in here." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do drugs while we're waiting for the cops to come arrest us." So we did. And but the cops never found us. I guess they gave up. And then we went in the bar and drank till like 6 in the morning. I wonder where she's at now. That girl's probably in prison or no longer with us because she was wild. I I worked with some wild ones at at different bars at different times. I forgot I had lost my stitch count because I was talking. Let's see where I'm at. And plus it's black yarn, so it's kind of hard to see where I'm at. Oh my goodness. One, two, three. Okay, I think I'm on three. Let's see. I need to check in on my friend Ian. He posted yesterday that he had some surgery, so just want to make sure he's healing happily, healing nicely, minimal discomfort. No surgery is ever any fun, even if it's like a hangnail surgery. It's still no fun. I have to go to a foot doctor, and I'm like, I am not looking forward to it. And it's not even for anything major. It's because I walk around barefoot in the fucking yard too much. Sorry. I walk around barefoot in the yard too much, and so I keep getting stuff stabbed in the bottom of my feet, and I can't get it out. So I got to go to a foot doctor because my primary care doctor is tired of fishing stuff out of the bottom of my feet. He says that they're too tough, and so we're gonna go figure out what's in the bottom of my feet and try to fix that. I hear my child, but I don't know where he is, what he's doing. I don't know. He's around here somewhere. He won't come on here, trust me. And I say child, he's a teenager. I think he'd do anything to hide from me. So my idea for these little thingies, oh, I was gonna make a hat, but also I had an idea, like kind of like what Jen ever at Cinnamon Stitches, how she's making like the little Dracula and like the little spooky characters. I was thinking of making like some little miniature monsters, just cute little ones with like maybe one eye or two eyes or something to pass out with the Halloween candy, or give the kids a choice if they want the stuffed animal or the candy. Because some kids would be like, "Ooh, stuffed animal, this is stupid," and throw it in my yard. There was a lady when I was a kid. There's this one lady that every year she gave out oranges, and we used to get so pissed. We're like, we don't want healthy shit for our Halloween. We want candy. So we'd throw the oranges in her yard, which I know. Now I know that was terrible, but I was a child and I'm very unsupervised growing up, like very, very unsupervised growing up. So I got in a lot of trouble. I created trouble of my own. Myself and my little sisters were the original hood rats. Riding our bike all day long till the street lights came on, drinking out the hose. My grandma used to lock us out and be like, "If you're hot, go in the garage." And we'd go in the garage, we'd be like, "Bet." And we'd go in the garage and get all the ice cream out of the fridge and pass it out to all of the little neighbor kids. And then my mom would come home and she'd be pissed because all the ice cream would be gone. And I'm like, "Well, damn, grandma locked us out again." working on crochet pumpkins. All I made a whole bunch one year with my Addie, and I went and set up at a market, and I didn't sell any. But then whenever I got home and I posted them like on Marketplace, I sold all of them. So people really liked them. And then even like the hand crocheted ones, with like the little cinnamon stick or just a stick out of the yard as the stem, those are really cute too. I have had this issue lately where I start projects and then I'm like, I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to finish it. I start something and then I'm just blah. I even got some crochet books from the library yesterday. They have really cool stuff in them and I really like looking at them. But I don't know. One of them has like 150 granny squares, so maybe I'll make a different granny square. Work on some different granny squares. So I'm doing a different pattern and using different yarns for each one, and then I can throw all the granny squares together and make a hideous, hideously perfect jacket. The more hideous, the better, because nothing says I love you when going out with my husband than wearing my handmade crochet items, because if that man could crawl back inside his own skin, he probably would, because he thinks that I am just too loud and too noisy and I talk too much. But he loves me so much. And so he just lets me be my freak self, but he just walks a couple steps behind me. Oh, that's really cute. That's nice. I don't know my coworkers yet. I've met them on Zoom once, but I'm pretty new. I've only worked there for a couple weeks, and we all go independently to the sober living homes, so we don't like ever see each other. One of us will go and then leave, and an hour later another one will come. So I won't hardly ever see my coworkers in person. But today is gonna be a super duper easy day. I'm just going to wear my Halloween leggings. I'm actually wearing what I have on, and we are going to listen to a guided meditation. And I tried it yesterday. It was so nice. I felt like I was just floating, laying on my porch. I forgot that I was out there almost. And then I heard my neighbor calling her dog, and I was like, "Whoops!" And so we're going to do that, and then I'm going to teach them some breathing exercises and teach them that sometimes it's okay if you start to do breathing exercises and it gives you a little bit of a panic. You can always try it again later when you feel a little bit more self-confident and you have a little bit less body trauma going on. Some people, I know when I began, I couldn't do a body scan, like where they say, okay, think about your toes, now squeeze them, now let them go. Okay, think about your feet, now squeeze them and let them go. Think about your ankles, like going like that and picking out each individual part of my body, like really freaked me out because I feel like my body has betrayed me so much and I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this vessel. And so that took me a good, I don't know, 2, 3 years to be able to do that, to be able to do that kind of breathing. So I'm going to teach the ladies that. I'm going to teach them that it's okay for it to take a little while because it is scary sometimes, even though it's just breathing, but it can do wonders for you. So hopefully they like it. And I told them just to be in their pajamas today, so I think that's the part that they liked, that they don't have to like be all dressed and perfect. Yeah, it'll be nice and relaxing. Maybe I can crochet while they're doing their guided meditation, or maybe I'll lay down, take a nap too. Who knows? It is getting really hot out here, so I think I'm gonna go in the house. I can't hide under this table anymore because the sun's getting up over me. So I'm gonna go inside where it's not so burning hot. It's gonna be like in the 80s here today in Colorado, where it should be freezing and snowing, but it's not. But I'll take it. I mean, it doesn't make my bones hurt when it's nice and warm. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, and I hope that you hang out with me next time I come on here if you can find me. Have a good day. Be kind. Be kind to yourself most of all.